Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Extra Time, the final word on the weekend's action. The league campaign has started for Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's ended up Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Blackburn Rovers 2. That doesn't tell the whole story of the game. I've done the head-in for this week. On the fans phone in reality check. And we're going to be joined by Craig and Alfie live, and we've got plenty of others that have sent in video reactions. So first of all, I want to welcome Alfie on for his full debut. Hi, Alfie.
Hi, mate. You okay?
Fantastic, mate. You have been on briefly before, but this is your official full debut for the 2026-27 season. You're a young lad. It's good to get, lots of different age group, genres and views and stuff on the thing. So it's brilliant to have you make your debut. So thanks for asking to come on, mate. Much appreciate it. And you're looking forward to the show?
Yeah. Should be a good chat. Few things to go over. Wasn't the best start, was it? As we all know, but I'm sure we'll get onto that.
We will be getting onto it. So there's loads of people that are saying hi to you as well. Dinny, outdoors graduate back love to you all. Well, you'll be hearing from Dinny very, very shortly because he's one that sent a video reaction. If you want to get onto the video reactions or you want to get onto Extra Time, you're always welcome to get in touch with us via admin at alwayswolves.co.uk or drop us a contact on the socials, a little bit like Alfie's done, and we'll get you on. We're also proud to be joined tonight after his, we try to give everyone a bit of a break over the holiday period, and it's great to have Charismatic Craig, otherwise known as Tuba Wolves, because he plays a giant tuba, and he's also the MD of a couple of quality brass bands, and he's looking very summery today, I have to say. Craig, good to have you joining us for the start of the season, and I'm sure all of the fans are going to be looking forward to hearing from you as the season goes on, Craig. And already it looks as if the Gremlins have got to Craig. He's been a bit overwhelmed with the response there from everybody, and straight away he's out of the chat. He's just very, very overwhelmed. So before we get, I'm sure he'll be back in a second. Before we get on to breaking everything down and giving you what we're going to be talking about tonight, I want to say, as always, a very big thank you to the wonderful people over at Creation Wolf for powering tonight's show. They've also done our fantastic new website, which is alwayswolves.co.uk. They take your digital solutions, your online presence to the next level. Links in the description. You can find them on creatingwolf.com. And I'm just pleased to say that, a bit overwhelmed with the emotion, the outpouring of love for the chat. It got a bit too much for Craig. He had to come off for a bit to shed a tear because of all the emotion. I'm just saying, Craig, great to obviously have the new season. Always love having you on. I know the viewers will all be looking forward to hearing your comments and salutations as the season goes on what is going to be a roller coaster at the Championship. But first of all, mate, good seeing you on Friday night.
And you too, Dave.
Joe as well. And obviously, you're looking forward to the season. You're looking well. And how's the brass bands doing?
Yeah, I've not been down to Bristol since the middle of July. They've had the summer off, but I'll start again Monday down there, and we're really, really busy for the last 4 or 5 months of the year. My village band that I've absolutely fallen in love with, even though the standard is not as high as Filton. They're just absolutely brilliant to work with. Wonderful people. Just want to learn and play well. So yeah, I'm having a great time. Thanks, Dave.
Which is absolutely wonderful. I'm glad to see. We're going to have a great show tonight. So guys, look, thanks for joining us. We've already got well over 100 in the chat. We've got more watching over on the TikTok as well, which is fantastic. We're going to break everything down as we always do. we always love lots of opinions on here, as long as it's put across in the right way. We can discuss, debate, disagree, be passionate. We try to keep the language down. Obviously, we have a wide range of supporters that do watch. And what we're discussing tonight, of course, it's going to be Wolves 2, Blackburn 2. Obviously, the things learned, some ratings. We're going to be looking at the squad. I think it's important we cover that again. There's some transfer window because we've just got 2 weeks left of it now. We will be looking ahead to Preston, and we'll be covering everything else in between. And then at the end, we'll have a nice little Q&A, which could be anything question to do with Wolves football or life, favourite pizza topping, anything, where Craig gets his shirts from, because he's wearing a very nice shirt tonight. It could be anything, couldn't it? So, Alfie, it's your debut. So, as it's your debut, before we start getting to the video contributions, Alfie's getting a bit overwhelmed as well there too. What's your opening thoughts? Just keep it nice and short. One sort of paragraph. Your opening thoughts on the opening game.
Not overly impressed, really.
Alfie, you don't know what you've covered up with your sound, but you're crackling like a Dalek. Yeah. No, you unfortunately. Yeah. You try logging off and coming back in, because you were fine before, but now you're breaking up on the your sounds very, very crackly. So try logging back in. Craig, sorry about that, because obviously you heard it yourself. Like he was fine before talking, and then he's moved his phone, and all of a sudden it's crackling. Your opening paragraph, Craig. Well, this is going well, isn't it? Craig, are you there? Oh dear me. Can people hear me? Craig, can you hear me? What a great opening to the show this is. You can't hear me. What's going on there?
Great transmission.
Oh, dearie me. I'm ever so sorry about that. Oh, goodness gracious me. So now it's just me. It's just me. Oh, my goodness. Everyone can hear me. Everyone can hear me. We got Craig back.
I've got him back again. Yeah, I can now. You've gone twice now, which is a bit concerning, but there you go. We're back in.
Craig, brilliant. This is live television, YouTube, whatever. So hopefully we've got Alfie back as well. Hello, Alfie.
Hi, mate. Is that better? Yeah.
Yeah, your sound quality.
Yeah, I'm not sure what quite went on then. Yeah.
But you're following. Right. So we'll go back to plan A. First of all, Alfie, your opening paragraph and thoughts. Just a nice little paragraph, bullet points. Your initial thoughts, and we're gonna get deeper into the game at the weekend. So just in one short paragraph, and then we'll do Craig, and then we'll do the videos.
Yeah, not overly impressed. I'd like to see more of the high press we did in pre-season, and nice touch for Raul to get a goal in front of the South Bank. I thought that was a nice touch. Shame it wasn't the winner, really.
Yeah, nice punchy. Craig, your opening paragraph.
Yeah, 25 minutes of good football, 65 minutes of last season's garbage.
Love it. Craig, straight to the point. Okay, well, we do have some, we have 4 video contributions. I'm going to do 2. We're going to talk a bit more, then we'll do another 2 as well. So let's kick in with Dinny. I haven't listened to any of these, by the way, guys. I've not listened to any of them. We're hearing them for the first off. Let's kick in from Dinny from Ireland, see what he's got to say.
Hello, Wolves fans. Dinny here in Cork in Ireland. It's great to be back. We're back, baby. I was really excited. Molyneux looked fantastic under lights as always. Great atmosphere. The return of Raul for a league game. Brilliant. It had the makings of a great night. Disappointing results, but I think maybe fair on the balance of it, but I would lean more towards Blackburn being robbed. I'll get to that in a sec. Lovely goal from Wolves to open it. Fer Lopez with a beautiful pass and a nice finish from Menezzi. He's going to be chaos this season, I feel, Manetzi. Good first half from Wolves. Very disappointed to concede that first goal. Defensively, Wolves are poor. They're going to be poor. Blackburn's second goal again. I feel they didn't get out to block that cross. It really could have been cut out. Possibly Muller-Wolf could have got out there. I can't remember now who was the closest player to him, but I really feel that could have been cut out at source. You look at Mosquera and Totti as the back two, and you compare them to Krejci and Santi. It really isn't a comparison. It's night and day. And then you stick Sa in goal instead of Bentley. That's a good defence. The one that was there last night isn't going to be good enough. When you put the two teams side by side last night, Wolves should have really been out of sight. Look, it is what it is. Fast forward to the penalty that was given. Thank God VAR isn't there in the championship, because I really feel VAR would have overruled it. I've seen arguments going both ways that he was in the box, his hand was in the box, he wasn't in the box. On the balance of the whole thing, Blackburn probably deserved to get more out of the game than a draw, and then to lose their 3 points in the way they did is why I feel that they were robbed. Look, Raul is back. I really don't want to feel like the sentimentality is fantastic and it is heartwarming and it's great to have him back, but it's kind of park it now and get down to the nitty gritty of the championship. It's going to be a slog. It's a long, hard season. The squad needs to be improved. There's so much talk about the defence and the keeper and everything. Let's just get it done. Let's close the window and let's be there for the grind. Fantastic to be back. I'm really, really excited, and hopefully we can push on to start getting all those wins. I think Raul is going to be, I'm not going to say a revelation, because he just is a class player. I didn't want to see Trippier go off when he did go off, and I didn't want to see Mane go off when he went off. I would have liked to have seen a little glimpse of Armstrong and Raul up top as a two. But look, that's it. Wolves are pinging it around. Nice short passing going on for large parts. Nice balls out to the wings, especially to Mane. Some nice long balls. He has great close control. Overall, job done, I suppose. It's a point. Not good enough for me, but we'll just take it. Opening games can be very strange. There can be some very weird results in the opening game, especially. But for some reason, Wolves always seem to be on the negative end of them. It never seems to be like, oh, wow, that was a result we didn't expect, and Wolves were the winners, you know. They always seem to be poor in their opening game. So, look, that's the crack. Going to give the game a 5 out of 10, because Wolves, for the whole second half, really were second best, which shouldn't be. You put the team side by side again, like I said, it shouldn't be the case that Wolves were that poor. So, a lot done and more to do. I'm giving Fer Lopez my man of the match. Shout out to Raul for coming back, and coolness personified to put that penalty away. Great to see his family in the crowd after everything that's gone on. His wife, as we know, loves Wolves and feels like she's at home. But again, park that nostalgia now and let's just get on with the grind for the year that's ahead. And I'm really optimistic. I think Wolves will do great. So that's it. On to the next one, Wolves fans. God bless everyone.
That's Dinny. Now let's hear from New York Dave, who's actually at the game, sitting a few rows behind me, and this is him walking outside of Molineux on Friday night.
Hey Dave with New York Wolves. Good seeing you, mate. Always good seeing you and Magic Moss and Emma and the folks. Dare I say it, welcome to the championship. I think tonight, and all the emotions we felt, the highs, the lows, the frustrations, the yelling, the screaming, the celebration. Tonight is a microcosm of what the next 9 months are going to be like, because championship ain't easy. I thought we started really well. I mean, from the first half, easily, by far the better team. Clearly just a better team, creating better chances, playing more silky football. They were clearly the kind of kick it over the top and run on it and hope something happens type team. The problem is that I don't think Cesar's had sufficient time with the team for us to know what we're going to do. So the team doesn't play as a team as well. So even though we've got that quality and that potential, it's not quite clicking. And unfortunately, Blackburn have been kicking it over the top for God knows how many years. So their kick and rush for type of football does actually work. So they scored 2 ugly goals. I'm going to have to watch them back on replay and just see how bad the defending was. For the first one, guy was wide open, had all the time in the world to get a cross in. That shouldn't happen. The guy ran across Totti to get the flick header. That should never happen. And I don't want to be harsh on Bentley, but maybe he could have got a little bit of a hand on it and kept it out. So that was ugly. And then their second was kind of the same thing. Kick the ball across into the box and hope it goes in. And it did, because I don't know whether we let people get free or what, but just two really disappointing goals to give away. Going forward, I think we sort of ran out of ideas almost. You know, there was some really good movement. I thought Rodrigo and Fer Lopez, to me, had a really good game. He was a bit quieter in the second half, but Rodrigo, Lopez and Trippier were giving him all sorts of problems. Armstrong, I think, did well, but we also, like I said, we sort of felt like we didn't quite have the edge, we didn't quite have the understanding to put the ball away. And then second half we seemed to run out of steam, kind of like last week, which is worrying. Well done to Minetti for his goal. I mean, he gets a lot of flack, I think rightly so, you know. I am curious how Minetti does in the Championship, because he's not massively talented, as we all know, but he's got an engine on him. And sometimes maybe that's what you need. But for all the crap he gets, he had a lot of composure and ran nicely onto a phenomenal ball from Lopez to put us in front. So well done to him for that. And then the pièce de résistance, Raul scored the equaliser. I mean, can we really be mad when Raul digs us out of the hole and scores an equaliser for us? You know, honestly, let's be very honest here. We were never going to destroy Blackburn. We were never going to be the finished product at this point in the season. There's still, what, 3 weeks of the transfer window to go? So, so we were never going to be the finished product. So, you know, it's okay. Let's not panic. There's some good signs, and it seems like Cesar's got a bunch of signings he wants to make. And today, maybe we look at it as a wake-up call to Fosun to say, hey, guess what, lads? We ain't good enough at the moment to go straight back up, so make it happen. So that's my take. It would have been nice to get a nice easy 3-0, 4-0 win. But an ugly draw, we're unbeaten, and kind of go from there. And, you know, we got work to do. But we're unbeaten, and Raul scored. So try and take the positives and on to next week. And I don't even know who we're playing next week. I honestly have no idea. So up the Wolves.
So yeah, so there's a great opening video contributions there from Dinny from Ireland and New York Dave, who got over for the game. We've got a couple more to come, but now it's time for our pundits for tonight. Alfie making his full debut, and of course our experienced Craig. Alfie, right, you've done your opening paragraph. What would you like to? What are the what do you take out of the game from Friday night? What are your points that you want to make? Oh, hold on, Alfie. I've put you on mute. Whilst there you go. Crack on.
Yeah, we need some more signings, some more solutions. Cesar summed it up quite well in his post-match interview. You look at the players he's bringing on. We need more solutions off the bench. It's a shame Rafiki Saeed is injured, because we need a new wide player definitely. Those two cannot start centre-back together again. They can't. No chance. I think it's quite harsh people being harsh on Wolfie, because he's had no pre-season. He's at the World Cup till the quarter-final, so he's coming cold, similar to Raul, really. We're trying to ease Raul in, and Wolfie's been chucked in. So, yeah, we definitely need more signings, but that's a bigger issue in itself, isn't it, with the homegrown quota? We've got to let players go like Channy, like Sasa, if we want to bring in players. And I know we're after Jordan James, but so are West Ham. So it's going to be a difficult one, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're going to get really into discussing the squad, I'm sure, as the show goes on. Craig, over to you now, mate.
Yeah, David, I don't normally make notes, as you know, but I'll have to make notes tonight because I don't want to hog loads of time and I want to get my points across. So if you'll just bear with me.
Of course.
The definition of stupidity is obviously doing the same thing over and over again and expecting completely different results. And of course, that's not going to happen. So, first of all, as a backdrop to the match Friday, the promises that were made, the commitments made to the fans' forums, the statement from the chairman, Matt Jackson's boast that we're going to punch our way out of this division, the promise that we had money to spend, the sale of Zhao, £10 million under his worth, his value. The 10th consecutive window where Wolves have bought too late for pre-season. The removal of Rob Edwards used as an excuse to say things have now changed, so we are behind again. The failure to sell on the dross in our squad, despite knowing about it for 12 months and now saying that our squad is too big. All of these things before set a tone. So I turn up Friday and for all your viewers, I've seen them 6 times so far this year. The 4 pre-season games, the cup game, and Friday. And I had a real tingle Friday when I went to the stadium. There's nothing like a night game at Molineux that sold out. We were going there really with an awful lot of hope because we believed, I think, that even though our squad was awful in the Premiership, it would still have too much for the majority of Championship sides, especially Blackburn Rovers that had just escaped relegation. But what I saw Friday, I mean, 25 minutes of beautiful flowing football, mainly, I have to say, through Fair Lopez, who for me is the best player in our club at the moment. He's just such a gifted footballer. But of course, we've got to have players around him to use him to his absolute maximum capability. And we saw that with that amazing through ball. And you've got to give him an extra due there. You know, his run was timed to perfection, and his finish was his finish day was super cool. The issue for me was outside that 25 minutes, where we actually moved the ball really quickly, quick 1-2s, which we've been talking about for the last year. It's the only way you break teams down that are very structured. And Blackburn were beautifully coached. They had 2 really disciplined lines that were quite close together. They moved up together, they moved back together, they moved across the pitch together. It was a lovely sign for me of Tony Mowbray's great coaching of them. But I got worried about us with the holes in our team. There were massive holes all over the place, which meant that when Blackburn won the ball back, they always had an easy out ball, whereas we didn't have any easy out balls at all. The lack of support from Mane down that left-hand side, leaving Mollerwolf totally exposed. Both goals came from that side, but I also have to say, Mollerwolf was in between, excuse my French, a shit sandwich because he got Mane not helping him enough, and he got Totti on his right-hand side, who is an absolute liability. How that guy can have the captain's armband when we've got Trippier in the side, I have got no idea. So these are the issues I saw. The slow pedestrian pace outside of that 25 minutes, Dave, playing across the back again, slowing everything, and that is so easy to defend against. The catastrophic central defensive pairing, you can't call it anything else. And we all called it out before the game, so this is not being wise after the event. The goalkeeping issue, again called out before the game. The second half performance, which was absolute dross, creating nothing in the second half. And again, against a team that just escaped relegation from the Championship, and playing 2 wingers with a 5'9", 5'10" striker in the box, and still giving him and Raul nothing to feed off. I am incredibly disappointed with and I blame our management rather than the players. Our management have known these problems now for well over 12 months. Certain promises were made to us that our squad would be strengthened. I know that we've changed coach, but Matt Jackson is supposed to be the overall manager of the footballing side of the club. And quite frankly, Dave, what he's left us with is more questions than answers. We've got a serious issue now that our two centre backs got no cover for them. Cesar is clearly not going to play Sarr or Johnson because they both want to be sold. Krejci wants to be sold. Santi Bueno wants to be sold. So to have that dilemma with those two catastrophic players that are being picked at the moment in the centre of our defence, we will not keep a clean sheet. So I thought our fans were magnificent, absolutely amazing. It's great to see Raul back. But boy, oh boy, I'm so angry with our senior management, Dave. I can't tell you. At the moment, for me, Nathan and Matt Jackson are both liars.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, Craig, we are gonna dig deep into all of that because you've said a lot there, and I think we do want to dig deep into that because there's a lot to chew on, and there's a lot that you've said. And I sat with you over at the Genting.
I was fuming Friday, as you know.
You were really angry then. And you had a right little rant. But I always know a couple of days later, you're still angry and stuff like that. But obviously, you were furious after the game, which I love, which I do love. Right, we're going to hear from Noah, and then we've got another one coming on as well. So let's hear from Noah. We've got another little surprise for you coming on as well from a different location instead of Norway, and then we're going to get into all of that.
Beautiful Chicago, Illinois. What isn't beautiful though is that match that happened. So it ends Wolves 2, Blackburn Rovers 2 at Molyneux to begin the 2026-27 EFL Championship campaign in our quest to get back to the Premier League, which quite frankly, we won't succeed in if, we have matches like that, any more matches like that throughout the season. Especially considering the fact that we were playing a very, very poor Rovers side, very poor Blackburn side, who are tipped to be in a relegation fight this season. Just a shocking result, shocking match, shocking performance. Dan Bentley, not fit to be your number one. Just simple as that, cut and dry. The fact you are still paying Jose Sa and you do not start him is ludicrous. Tati Gomez, it's the same thing with Bentley and Sa as it is with Gomez in Krejci/Santi. In what world is Tati Gomez starting and still getting the captain's armbands? Ridiculous. Trippier, again, should be having the captain's armband. He didn't have his greatest match for his standards, I'd say. But he was still fine. He can still, I think, hold his head relatively high. Muller-Wolf got just torn apart today on that left side, especially in the first half. Munetsi got his goal, but then faded and didn't do a whole lot else, I think. Andre was fine. Mane was mediocre, I think. Fer Lopez was really, really good today. Rodrigo Gomez, busted gut as always, and Armstrong busted a gut too, but, he didn't really do a whole lot else. Need him popping up more in certain situations to try and get some, to try and put it in the back of the net. And then the subs were just dreadful, absolutely dreadful, the subs. Aside from Raul, because he scored the penalty, but also, even though he didn't score a goal in open play, or getting chances really. That's because we weren't getting any service to him, because we weren't getting in any areas to put service into him. Jackson Chachua, bad, really bad. Doyle didn't make an impact when he came on. Same with Lima. Trewa had maybe a few moments, but that's about it. And overall, it was a completely undeserved result, in my opinion, for Wolves today. Honestly, if you're a Rovers fan, if you're a Blackburn fan, like, you gotta feel robbed. You have to feel robbed. We need reinforcements quickly. Our squad depth is horrendous. And Pajado needs to really adjust to this league. It's extremely unforgiving. These are matches. These are results that can ultimately result in you not getting promoted. And we need to get promoted. I guarantee you, Andre, Trippier, Raul, they will not be here next year if we get stuck in the championship again, like it has been the case in the history of Wolverhampton Wanderers. But yeah, anyways, try and enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. I don't have a whole lot much else to say. Always Wolves.
And next up,
this is Chris, normally from Eidsvoll in Norway, but today, luckily for me, on the Orihuela Costa in Spain. And yeah, we've got to talk about that first league game, haven't we? And you know, on the back of a pre-season where the last few games we looked stable, we looked organised, we looked like we had an identity, and we looked like he had a system. And the sign of moderate to poor opposition, and that all disappears. And in the end, we're lucky to get a point. Now, before the game started, we had the news that Hugo Bueno's injury and Muller Wolfer came in. And look, it really imbalanced the team, didn't it? It really imbalanced the team, because you see Wolfer just wasn't ready. And it just, I think it made a massive difference. Both the goals came on his side. I know he's a good player. I've seen him many times. He had a great World Cup at the highest level. But my God, that was not the same player yesterday. That's for sure. Look, in the end, you'll have to say we're very, very lucky to get a draw. But we do escape with a draw, so it's not a disaster. The weekend isn't ruined just for a change. But what it did confirm is something that we all knew, we've all said, and actually we were promised. The club, yet again, haven't done enough in pre-season or in the summer that we can get a good start in the league, and we are ready to play football at this level. That is probably the 5th or 6th year in a row we've started the first game and we're nowhere near good enough. This, yet again, is on the club and the owners. But we knew it. We all said it, and now it's been proved again.
Well, there you have all of the video reactions that are in. I'm just going to drop that off the screen. So, let's get stuck into it, shall we? Alfie, hearing what Craig's had to say, obviously you kicked off there. What do you want to add to all of that? I mean, let's look at the, let's break it down. Personally, and probably most of you will disagree with this, I thought we deserved a draw. Not at the end, I thought we were lucky, but on the balance of play over the whole game, I'm looking at, and on the stats, which I'll show you right now, these are the stats of the game. So Wolves had 55.2% possession, Blackburn 44.8%. Our XG was 2.4. We scored 2. Theirs was 0.82. We had 18 shots to their 10. They had 5 shots on target to our 3. And bear in mind, one of those was the penalty. And then obviously you look at the in-depth stats in terms of completed passes was more and stuff like that. So look, on the stats and on the XG, I'll stick by what I said after the game. I thought overall we deserved at least a point. But I thought, as I said at the end of my reaction, I thought we were lucky in the way that we got it in the end. because we did get lucky with the penalty. I think it was probably just inside the penalty area. And if you want someone on that at the end of the game, you do want Raul Jimenez. It's kind of written in the stars, and he puts it away. I also think, from my point of view, it exposes some of the things that we've been talking about. Against Racing Santander, we were very sloppy in the first 10 or 15 minutes. Could have easily conceded. Even against Port Vale, defensively, we were very sloppy, especially in the first 10 or 15 minutes. Could have conceded. In fact, I think they hit the bar, didn't they? And that showed the vulnerability that everyone can see with regards to concerns about the keeper, concerns about the centre-back pairing, without a shadow of a doubt. And obviously, we got away with it then. What happened in this particular game was the good things that the club got right, in my opinion, and you have to give credit where credit's due for some things. I know people want to moan about the owners on lots of different levels, but let's just take the football thing out of the context and the game for the moment. The stuff around the stadium with the banners, the 150th anniversary, things like that. They've done stuff inside the stadium to make some really, really positive things. The atmosphere, the build-up, all of that was positive. So you have to give a little bit of credit for that sort of stuff. That's got to be sanctioned and done and thought about. I know people don't mention that. I thought the stuff for Phil Parks as well was fantastic. He was very lately added into the programme, although I do think that I'm not sure if someone could tell me, I can't remember them doing something for Kenny Jackett, who passed away recently as well. So if someone can tell me if I've missed that, because Kenny Jackett was very, very important to the club in the rebuild down in League One, and he certainly deserves to be recognised as well. But if I've missed that, I do apologise, but I can't remember the Kenny Jackett stuff. We started really, really well. We got in front, playing a great ball, like what Craig's mentioned. Fair Lopez, brilliant ball. Trippier to Lopez. Menezzi makes the run. Normally he slashes, but he was calm. He put the ball in the back of the net. And then for 10, 15 minutes after that, we looked amazing. We were moving the ball around. We were scintillating football. The crowd was really in it. It was exciting to watch. We didn't get the second goal like we did in the previous 2 weeks in terms of pre-season. But then Blackburn got corner. They got corner, cross, and then the crosses weren't cleared. And then the third cross comes in. It's not cleared at the near post. It's a near post header. Bentley, a lot of people, I think, should have, again, like in some of the pre-season games, should have done better. And Blackburn have scored and they're back in it. And then from that point on, like what you say, Craig, we kind of just fell apart. They didn't expect it. They didn't react to it. We got to half-time. Okay, reset. You think half-time, okay, come out 1-1. They've scored a goal on a thing. Brilliant. But Blackburn came out more organised, stronger than us, right on the front foot for the start. It's a stupidly sloppy second goal as well. Comes from the same side, like you're saying, 2-1 after 3 minutes into the second half. The Blackburn fans who are all in the corner, they help create a good atmosphere. But for me, the away fans are better up there than down the whole of the line, because it creates a better atmosphere generally. I thought they're in ecstasy land, and then they just bossed the second half. We huffed and we puffed. Changes were made. I think Mosquera was playing with one leg at one point because he'd made the 5 substitutions. But they did show some resilience to keep going and try, and we got the penalty, and Raul finishes it. And then, of course, there's an almighty meltdown on everything like what Craig you've just mentioned, and understandably, people are very, very, before this, are kind of like hoping that we're starting the expectation that we're going to start well and we're going to win. It doesn't happen, and then this is how it goes. It's like, let's get stuck in, Craig, to your main points, because I think we all agree, whether or not you're one side or the other, we all agree the squad is unbalanced at the moment. Things need to be sorted out, and we're weak in certain areas. We haven't got the depth, Craig.
I mean, we're differently. And we very often do, and this is what people don't realise about our friendship, that me and you have had some absolute barnstormers, but we allow each other to have each other's view. I don't give a toss about flags, Dave, and how the stadium looks beforehand. With the last 4 seasons we've had, what I care about first and foremost is that team on the field.
100%. 100% correct. All I was just saying is that it hasn't got mentioned or picked
I know.
out, and a lot of people have thought of it. I'm going to give that a little bit of credit. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but my total focus is on the team, which is more than Matt Jackson and Nathan Sheezy's, because we've got an oversized squad. We've got a recruitment and sales team that I've been knocking there for 2 or 3 seasons that are incompetent. We are wasting money employing a recruitment and sales team because they're not fit for purpose. We've got rid of João Gomez, and the reason we got rid of João so easily is as I said before, he's £10 million under price. We had a 25-minute period where when we move the ball fast, we look okay, but you cannot hide the inadequacies in that side. And by the way, Dave, as you know, they know about them. So they've known about the Moscow weakness and the Totti weakness. They've known we need a goalkeeper. They've known we need a creative midfield player for 4 or 5 months. What have they been doing? And to use the World Cup as an excuse, had it been a one-off window, I'd have gone with it. We don't want it. This is the 10th consecutive window that these morons, right, have failed to do their jobs properly. We started the season on Friday, right, with no signings apart from the 2 frees and the injured player, which were done very, very early.
That's 3 signings, Craig, not none.
Right. 2 frees and a cheapo, which have come out in the press.
£7.5, £8 million.
Yeah, and we paid over the odds for them, which they've admitted. So all these 7, 8, 9 players, which I know your argument on this, it's because Rob Edwards has gone. I don't agree with that. Matt Jackson, that's his job. And when he knows the weaknesses, a manager of Cesar Bachota, which by the way, I had more confidence in him before the game than I've got after, because his substitutions were substitutions of a madman. Kieran Trippier, right, one of the best players on the field, taking him off.
Yeah, but you can also argue the fact that he took him off and he did bring Jackson Chichura on, which we all think, shouldn't be really here. He doesn't create, but he did do the cross that got the penalty.
Yeah, it's in spite of, not because of.
He did goal, didn't he?
Yeah, Dave, absolutely. But it's in spite of, not because of, isn't it? Every time in a game of chance, you get a win. But if you're considered and you're thinking about what you're doing, you can get wins most of the time because you make the right decisions. And I'm afraid, for me, our squad's nowhere near strong enough. We've now found out, as a lot of our fans said, Dave, last season, some of these players would struggle in the Championship. That was said time and time again. That's proven to be the case. Totti, oh my gosh, the defending of Totti.
Craig, on one game, that's proven to be the case.
No, 39 games, Dave.
I know, but we've only played one game of the Championship so far. So
and it should have been easier.
Yeah,
we played 38 games at a much higher level, and were dross. We've now dropped down, and we were pretty much dross. We're getting Dave. We're getting a lot of fans saying this. So,
listen, I'm just obviously giving the counter arguments and discussions to create the debate as well. You know what my feelings?
Of course you are.
We all agree. We know that every single one of us agree that the squad isn't balanced or deep enough, and we've got 2 weeks to sort it. I think everyone's on the same page as regard that. In terms of like the process, we might all have a slight difference. Let's bring Alfie in for your thoughts, Alfie. Let's just start with the team and the squad where you think it's weak yourself.
Well, this is obviously quite unfortunate that Rafiki Saeed's injured, but in wide areas, I think you take Mane off, you take Rodrigo Gomez off. There's a massive gulf in quality and class in wide areas. I'm not convinced whatsoever by Dan Bentley. If Jose Sarr doesn't want to be here come the 2nd of September, we've got to sign a new goalkeeper. And same applies to them centre halves. We cannot go into this season with Totti Gomez and Yerson Mosquera as our best 2 centre backs. We can't do it. It's suicide.
Yeah,
so in those areas for me, Dave, I think we definitely need reinforcements. You said there we've signed 3 players. All right, we need 4, maybe even 5 more. So we're halfway there. Not even halfway there. So we've got massive work to do.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I think that listen, Totti, I think everyone can agree. Look, he was captain last year. That's probably why he's still got the armband. We've seen in the past managers come in and change. Who was it that came? Roger Johnson came into the dressing room, got the armband off Carl Henry, and it caused issues. But like at the end of the day, Trippier, I think for every single fan, pretty much I would say 90% of the fan base would agree that really Trippier should be given the armband. He's got respect. He's a leader. He's shown it on the pitch. He's got the experience. People look up to him. You know, whether you're a more senior player or a younger player coming through, he is a natural leader and should be, in my opinion, I think we all agree, should be and this isn't nothing against Totti as a person. I'm sure he's a great character and everything. I don't know him, but like Trippier should be the captain. And I think that would send a statement as well. Totti, is he staying in the team because he's got the captain's armband? I don't know. I think Totti is okay in a 3, or he can play on the side, can't he? Is it the left side he sometimes feels?
Under Lopetegui, he played the left back of a 4. And to be fair, he was actually okay because he's got a bit of pace, but
he's vulnerable, Craig, don't you think, in a 2 at the back?
Dave, I've watched both of the goals about 20 times to try and analyse what we did wrong. And if Cesar's anywhere near his pedigree, he would have ripped that guy's head off, because for the first goal, he allowed a guy to get round him and come in. So the lack of a space, what I call spatial awareness, which is knowing what's around you, which the great players have. Nevers had it. Nevers was looking around 10 times every quarter of a second. So that he knew
the scanning, you get
so
taught
that he
it
knew
younger
exactly
than me.
what. But both goals were a mirror, because the Blackburn player came from behind and he was unaware. He was ball watching. And for the second goal, exactly the same. The Blackburn player came through to 2 Wolves players. Both of those goals were dreadful defensive errors. And you know, if you're going to give it a team like Blackburn those sort of chances, and this is my concern, Dave. All those stats that you just quoted, that's for a team that's going to be quoted to be struggling this season. If they had that many chances against us, what are the better sides going to do?
Well, with no doubt about it. If any of you've watched my match vlog, if any of you watched my reaction, I said even during the game, and there is our Achilles heel right up. I said it as when the first goal went in. It's the Achilles heel of this team. I think we've got some talented players, quality players, and you know we're moving at times. We move the ball quicker. We've pressed better, but Tony Mowbray has been around this league many times. He's a very wily character. He knows how to set teams up. I think Blackburn are going to do a lot better than a lot of people think because of Tony Mowbray. Yeah, I mean, there's always a team that a lot of teams that think they're not going to do very well, and then they end up having a really good side because the manager makes that team better than the sum of the parts. At the moment, looking at the team that we've got, on paper, we should easily win that game. And if we scored the second goal, we'd probably go on and win the game really, really well. But as we all know, football's not played on paper. I want to come back to the point about this. I think we all agree with Totti, because I think Totti shouldn't be playing centre back personally. I think we all agree. I don't mind Mosquera personally, because I thought Mosquera is very athletic. I think he's not bad in it too. He's good on the floor, but I think he's exposed a lot because he's next to Totti. If you put Mosquera next to Santiago Bueno,
that's probably fair.
or Krejci, he will look a lot better player. And to be fair with the guy, we're down. He's made 5 substitutions, and Mosquera's playing on with one leg, trying to for the team. So I do like Mosquera, but I think if you put him alongside a better, more composed leader like a Santiago Bueno, and we've had Keith on here like 2 or 3 years ago when we were talking about Santiago Bueno, and he said in 2 or 3 years he's going to be like one of our main defenders, and like you could, he's a Uruguay and he's really matured, and Krejci. So I think I hope he's not too injured. The goalkeeping situation, let's talk about that, because that's a problem area that we can all say. Dan Bentley, really top bloke, a proper professional, great in the changing room, great around the squad, all of that, brilliant. Great as a number 3. I could even cope with Dan Bentley as being a number 2 this year, because we've seen at times when he's come off the bench against United and other teams, and I think he's played, for 20, 30, 40 minutes or for a game, he's done all right. But over the course of a season, I just don't, personally, nothing against you, Dan, if you watch this, I just don't think he's good enough for us at the level that we want to be at the top end of the tree. That we're going to concede goals. I mean, even right at the end after we'd equalised, he drops the ball in the 94th minute. And I'm like, oh my God, he's dropped the ball. And luckily, they didn't pounce on it. And I think the ref gave a free kick. So what's the answer with the goalkeeping situation is, apparently, tell me if I'm wrong, Sarr was very invested on the sideline. He was screaming at the 4th assist. He was very, very invested. That, to me, isn't someone who doesn't care about the club. So Jose Sarr, if you care and you're really passionate about this team, which we know you do care about the club, and, you're still here, show it. Tell them you want to stay. Get back in the sticks as our number 1. And then Sam Johnson obviously will need to be moved on, because they need to move on at least one of Sam Johnson or Jose Sarr. And then Bentley could potentially be number 2. And then there's a good young keeper coming through that could be number 3. What are your thoughts on that, on the goalkeeping situation? If you go first, Alfie, and then Craig.
Yeah, spot on, really. As you say, we want to obviously be automatic playoffs at a bare minimum. So Dan Bentley can't be our goalkeeper. Full stop, really. Jose Sarr's got to come in, and if it's not Jose Sarr, then it'll have to be a reinforcement, someone from the window, which I don't know who that's going to be. That's Matt Jackson's job and Cesar's job and Nathan Shee's job to try and pluck someone out. But yeah, definitely can't be Dan Bentley.
Yeah, Craig?
Yeah, what concerns me about Bentley, Dave, is something that he can't help, which is his reflexes.
Yeah,
a good goalkeeper.
The goal he conceded against Wales.
Good goalkeepers have got what I call an instinct, that they almost know where the ball's going without actually seeing it. And that first goal, any goalkeeper in the Championship and the Premier, I believe, should have saved that with the right reflexes. It literally went past his head.
Jose Sarr saves that goal.
Yeah, I absolutely, and even Johnson's a bit slow down, but I still think his reflexes are better than that. But the trouble again, though, Dave, what we're thinking of doing at the moment, and what concerns me with these total incompetence. And I'm sorry to keep saying that, but 10 windows tells me that they are incompetent. And Matt Jackson is giving me no confidence whatsoever. We are going to, it's rumoured now.
I'm guessing Matt Jackson will probably, if he was here, he'd say, well, Craig, you know, I've only been in charge. I've only been.
Garbage. He's been around the club for ages.
Yeah, he would, but he's not the.
Do you know what?
If they spent as long looking for excuses and players.
If he was here,
leaders, Dave, proper leaders take responsibility. Proper leaders take responsibility. Well, I used to have sayings on all my bank branches. Losers find excuses, winners find solutions. And that guy, all he does is finds excuses. And I am sick to the back teeth of it, because we are looking, from the rumours this afternoon, to be selling Hugo Bueno to Coventry for 12 to 15 million pounds. Are you joking? He's worth more than that. He's just done at least 2 seasons in the Prem. But again, we do not have the ability to negotiate.
Where have you heard that from?
It's in the press at the moment.
Okay, I've not seen that yet.
I've seen that circulating, to be fair, myself as well, Dave.
So there you go. But my concern here, Dave, and it all relates to the same thing, because we're talking about Bentley, but the reason Bentley's there is that our transfer business has been abhorrent. Our transfer business has been incompetent. So the reason Bentley's there is that we haven't done any business where we needed to. Yeah, you know...
Craig, on that point with the keepers, I get your point and I empathise with it, because the keeper situation, you've heard me talk about it to you. I've talked about it for weeks. The problem is Johnson's been injured. Sarr hasn't been sold because people ain't coming to buy him. So
you don't know that, Dave.
Well, you do, because...
No, you don't. You don't know how bad we are at negotiating. Well, and the last 10 windows tells me... The thing
that we were really good at negotiating was selling players and getting more money for them. I mean, look at how much Lows, and we have been very good at that.
But our top players, Dave?
Yes, we could get rid of these players and just give them away. But, you talk about selling... you're about letting Joe Gomez go for £10 million on the value,
absolutely.
And but then you've got to get value for like players. The Joe Gomez situation, I personally think, we probably could have got 45 million, but you're only going to get 45 million or players like that if there is a bidding war on a player. If there's only one club coming in for a player that wants to leave, you can't really. You can't really create that bidding war. So getting 38 million for Joe Gomez on the back of he didn't even have his great season. I understand. If we'd have held, there's an argument that said, well, we could have held on longer in the window and have got more. But then you'd have come on here and said, well, why haven't we sold him yet? Literally, it's exactly the same thing you're saying about Jose Sarr and Sam Johnson. So
and also the dross that we've known about for how long. I am questioning, Dave. I am questioning the ability of our recruitment and sales team under Matt Jackson to do a proper job.
And Craig, can I say, rightly so, you are to question.
Yes, thank you.
I'm not in any way saying you are right. Everyone, including me and Alfie, you're right to question that, because ultimately they are going to be accountable for the transfer window that we have and the balance of the squad.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a lot of people, and I can understand it, are very, very stressed. And I knew for a full fact, if we didn't beat Blackburn on Friday night, there's going to be quite a lot of people that are going to be coming out very angry and going, well, because we ain't good enough, because you haven't done
There's no patience, Dave. There's no patience left. They've used it all up.
But there would be, like you said, if it was like 1 or 2 windows, people would be. But it's the last 3, 4, 5 years, and people have got to the point where we've seen this, read this book, we've got this T-shirt, we've heard this record, we've had this played to us year after year after year, and people are like seeing it happening again, and that's why people are angry. I think that's a fair comment to say, and I've said many times, I can understand. My only caveat to that on the on this, it's one game. We didn't lose the game. We can see the glaring issues. We have bought in 3 players. I know you'll say 2 were on a free, but they are big players. For those that you don't know, free transfers don't mean you haven't spent any money. It means it could be a signing on bonus. There's going to be money to agents. They'll be on very high wages. That money from the transfer fee will go into another thing. Rafiki Saeed, that's just typical Wolves, in it. How many times we see it happening? We get a player come in 20 minutes injured. Sasha Kalajic, Tony Daly back in the day. I remember that happening to him. He's been bought in because he's a one-on-one wide forward to take on players, which is the type of player that he wants. He's out till probably October. Bellegarde's injured, who can do a job, I personally think, in the Championship. But the other thing I want to say, when people are saying about we haven't bought players in, we have had six players come back on loan that were not in the squad. So if we'd have gone out and signed Fair Lopez, who wasn't here last year, and he signed for us this year, Tommy Doyle, Menetzi, they're 3 players. Would you take any of those 3 players out of the squad that were not here last year? That's a question to Alfie and to you first, and then Craig, because they're like new players, aren't they?
They are and they aren't, Dave. I think they're certainly not enough. We're too weak. That okay? You put them into a level. Obviously, at the minute, Tommy Doyle will get the odd 30 minutes here and there. Menetzi definitely starts at the minute until, I'm sure we'll get into it later, Jordan James potentially signs. Those players aren't enough. Yes, they are good, and if you want to call them signings like Karachi, but they won't cut it. We want to be challenging at the top end of the table, and those 3 won't do it. We need Andre.
I'm not saying they will do it, Alfie. What I'm saying is that I know we've only signed 3 actual players, but there are another 3, which is effectively 6, which is half a team, that weren't here last year, that are now looking like they're key parts of the team. And if we'd have bought them in as new signings, would people be saying, well, we signed 6? Do you know what I mean? Oh, well, we've actually signed 6 players. So I'm just saying you have to look at it a little bit like that. Pizzotto's come in. Rob's gone. If Rob was still here, like when Nathan, and people are right to say it is correct to say this, Matt Jackson, what you said, we're going to be really strong. We're going to be big players in the championship. He said this, and he needs to be accountable for what he said. Nathan, of course, said, back at the fans forum, the first one with the podcasts, he said we don't want to leave things till late in the championship because we've done this before. He has said that, and they also said at those meetings we're all aligned. This was Nathan, Matt Jackson, Rob Edwards, 3, the holy trinity of 3 people on what we're doing and what the plans is for the transfer window. 2 weeks after the end of the end of the season, we've signed Trippier. We've given Andre a new contract. He stayed, who is for me, a key signing, even though he's not new. We kept Andre. We've signed Kieran Trippier, that everyone said, we'll tear up his contract, because the press come out and everyone was in a meltdown with that. It was never going to happen. And then we've bought, obviously, in Rafiki Saeed. But Rob Edwards has then sacked, which I don't think most people would complain about if it had happened at the end of the season. And we've bought in a brand new manager, Cesar Pizzotto, and his team. And a brand new manager with a brand new team, is surely wanting to have a look at the players at his disposal, which is the current team and the ones that are coming back off loan. And they've gone out on a pre-season training camp. He's had a look, decided on who he wants to keep and who he wasn't. He's been trying things out. And 3 of those players that have come back off loan, are now part of the team. And now we've had this knock-on effect that we're now, again, late in the window. I personally think that this is my gut feeling. Things will happen in these next 2 weeks to bring players in. And if they don't, then they really are accountable. Because I get why people are angry, but I still want to judge the window as a whole and the balance of the squad as a whole, if that makes sense.
David, I understand what you're saying, okay? And if they bring 3 or 4 decent players in that are being muted at the moment, I'm not going to chop their hands off. But they've already been a failure, Dave.
Yeah.
Because the season started, right? And these players should have been in before now. And we keep doing this so that we're almost saying that we can give the first 4, 5, 6, 7 games away, and we're confident that we'll be able to catch up. That's madness.
Yeah.
But we are making the same errors time and time again. I think you've just made some really good points, but
yeah. Well,
Doyle,
obviously, you know me. This extra time is a discussion to hear different things, and sometimes I will say points because it's the opposing view and the arguments that I get from other people and talking about. So it's good to discuss all of it as a whole, the different thoughts.
absolutely. But Alfie's point, Alfie was spot on. Then you 1 or 2 players don't make a team; 11 do, and every one of those people within that team are a cog. And in fact, nowadays you're saying that it's 17 players, isn't it? Because there's
Championship,
the
it's
amount of people
Saturday,
bench.
Tuesday. We need a squad.
Absolutely. And every one of those, Dave, have got to be able to do a job, not be lesser than the player coming off. They've got to have the same or more to the team. We're looking at the moment about players that are just not up to it, and then worse than that, our 2 wide men, Mane and Roddy, are well off their level. Well off their level. Mane looks like a duck out of water at the moment. He does. One of his control's gone, but the second thing, he almost seems to be second guessing himself. Roddy gets into fantastic positions and can't cross the ball. His final ball is shocking. So whilst that's supposed to be there to balance our team out, at the moment their contribution, Mane a little bit more than Roddy, is minimal. And we've got poor old Adam Armstrong, who might as well not be playing because he's running after lost balls.
Yeah, he makes some great.
He's a fantastic workhorse, and his heart is huge. But our forward line at the moment is ineffective. If you're going to play wingers, you have to play a target man. And Armstrong is not a target man. Armstrong needs to play off role.
Yeah.
Well, I think Pizzotto took Mane off and kept Armstrong on for that point. And I want to come back to Wolfman because he's obviously said they set the 4 and they've got players ready to go. They did say that. I'm agreeing, but I agree with all of that. And but that was when Rob was the manager. Rob Edwards was the manager. They were working on what they were agreeing with Rob Edwards. They've then brought in a brand new manager with a different style of play. And there are Moller Wolf wasn't even being played by Rob Edwards last year at all. And he ended up getting to the quarterfinals of the World Cup with Norway. And actually headed the bar against it. Moller Wolf was exposed. I agree with what Alfie's saying against the weekend because Hugo Bueno wasn't on the pitch. I think if Hugo Bueno's on that pitch, we win that game. Personally, for me, Moller Wolf's come in probably a lot sooner than expected, and I also think he was left exposed. I agree with Craig. I think Mane, they were cutting us apart during that on that left hand side. So look, if Rob was still here, Rob Edwards was still in charge, I would be probably as angry as everyone else. I just always try and take a little step back and just think, well, why would we be in this position? And the big thing for me is we changed manager. We've changed the manager. I will be very upset and angry if this balance of this squad by the time we come to the 1st of September isn't sorted out, incomings and outgoings. We're also hamstrung, like what you said, Alfie, by the homegrown player rule, aren't we? If you want to go in a little bit more into depth, why that? I'm just unmuting you there.
Yeah.
Why that causes a problem?
My audio is playing up a bit at the minute, so apologies for that. But yeah, the squad is far too big, isn't it? And as we touched on, we knew we were getting relegated from to be fair, I'd say November. I came on here after the following the defeat at home to Burnley 3-2 the back end of October, and it was our fate was sealed then. So how we haven't been able to get rid of the dross, I think that's quite a nice term for players like Channy and others. I don't know, and it's a real shame. Like against Port Vale, Jerome Abbey had to be on the bench instead of Boubacar Traore. I think Boubacar Traore is a great player on his day. He gives us the solutions that we're after. Gives us pace in midfield. He can play a ball. He can intercept. I feel like it's got to be addressed, which is why I'm so keen on us getting the lad from Jordan James, the lad from Leicester.
Would you keep Boubacar?
Yes, I would. I felt just because I feel like in this division, especially as I just touched on, then it's Saturday, Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday. We need a good squad. We don't need a good 11. We need a good 20 players.
Absolutely.
We need a unit. This togetherness. We can't have like as on Friday, Mane coming off and the massive drop in quality, or Rodrigo coming off, or Andre coming off. We need players that match each other's ability. We can't then have 5 subs and go from a top end Championship 11 to a bottom end Championship 11. It's got to be fluid throughout the game.
And there is the issue that we have got quality players. We haven't got the depth and the replays, because like the way Cesar Pizzotto wants to play is with the high press. And to play high press, of which we've used to good effect in pre-season turnovers, scoring goals and stuff like that, you've got to have that coming off the bench, because you will fade, and it's the depth. I think that's one of the reasons they brought in Rafiki Saeed. Bellegarde not being injured as well is an issue. Boubacar's an interesting one. He's another one that wasn't here last year. Jordan James, if we bring him in, Craig, he looks like he's going to be able to add something to the team.
He's a real deal, Dave, and I think just on again a really good point you made. But of course, I come from a management background, as you know, and I've got no issue with when that decision, which was the right decision but a ridiculous timing, sat Rob. If things have changed, and they clearly had, the one thing that we lauded in the early days about Nathan Shee is his communication strength. And Nathan has made a noose for himself now, as has Matt Jackson, who I think unfortunately his comments and his boastings would have been better kept to himself, because when you boast to that level, mate, you've got to deliver, and he absolutely hasn't.
You want about
Nathan Shee? Yeah. Nathan Shee made some statements, Dave.
Yeah.
Prior to Rob's departure, the moment that Rob was dismissed, he should have then come out with another statement to the fans and said, "Look, you need to bear with us. This was a decision that we made after the season ended. We think it's best for the club, but obviously bringing in a new coach will mean a different playing strategy. So the players that we've had targeted obviously may not fit the bill, even though we'll keep them on the burner for now. But please bear with us. I wanted to communicate this to you so that you know that we're aware about what we've said. We don't want to look as though we're trying to dupe you. We're not. But it'll all be down to the new manager." Why didn't that come out, Dave?
Do you know what, Craig? I think you're spot on, the nail on the head with that. I think that would have been really good. I think that would have been a common sense thing to say, look, we've changed.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people are angry because you can't argue with it, because it is true that statements were made. We're going to go strong. We're going to be this. We've got it all planned out. Can't argue. I can't argue with that. I 100% agree with everything that everyone's saying on that point, because I was there, and I can guarantee you that these things were said.
Dave,
Dave,
can I just come in here?
Yeah.
And Alfie, I'm sorry to be hogging this. This is a statement, word for word. While this is a deeply disappointing outcome, work has been underway since my arrival in December to ensure we are ready to respond with clarity and conviction. We are clear on what needs to improve. And our focus is now on strengthening the club, building momentum, and creating a team our supporters can believe in. We know what is required and will approach the months ahead with purpose. We know this season has tested your loyalty and patience. Your backing home and away has not been taken for granted. That was said by Nathan.
Yeah.
And then when everything changed, it's all gone silent again. And I have to tell you, what will come into the public domain in the next 2 to 3 weeks, that I've had a very confidential conversation, and I can't disclose it because it was confidential, will show what folks can actually think of the fans.
Okay, well, that's mysterious, Craig. Obviously, I can't comment on that because
No, you can't. And I'm sorry that I can't
really
say any more. But he could have come out with another statement, Dave, and should have done.
Do you know what, Craig? Do you know what? That's fair comment, because I think Nathan has come across really, really well. People can knock the guy or whatever, and there's some people that will, because I just want to reiterate, because so people that watch this channel can 100% say, I'm going to put 2 things in the chat in a second, so you can read what we wrote. So I'm just going to show you. I'm going to put these things in the chat. So people who say that we are a pro Fosun channel is absolute utter rubbish. We want the best for the club like anyone else. These are 2 articles that we wrote. Read them and put out on the BBC, because we write for the BBC each week. So, read both of those articles and the things that we said needed to happen. So we're not pro Fosun. We're not anti this. We want the best for the club. We wanted action. We wanted Fosun to step up. And if they don't step up and back the club, and I've said it here and I've said it on the channel, sell the club to someone who will. That's where I am, and that's where we are. We know they've done some good things. They've done.
But not for a long time, Dave. Not for a long time.
It's their doing why we're in this mess, isn't it? You've got to remember that. Last time I was on here, I was critical of Fosun.
Where's your video, Alfie?
Oh, we're not on.
Yeah, you've just gone dark.
Back up.
No, you've gone.
No
just
idea.
To say, and then log off and come back on with your video. Go on, Alfie.
All
Sorry.
right, yeah. As I was just saying, last time I was on here critical of Fosun. It's their doing why we're in this mess, isn't it? And they're going to keep lying to us until. And I don't think anything's really going to change until we get new owners. We're going to come into seasons underprepared. I would be surprised if we made all 4 of those signings that collectively we all agree as a fan base that we need. I'd be very surprised if all 4 of those signings were brought in and to a high standard.
Yeah, I think it's personally. I mean, saying lying is quite a strong word. I can understand why would people say that under Jeff, because that's been proven.
Nathan came out and sorry, Dave. Nathan came out and said that we'd see a whole new rejuvenated squad. It'd be completely different faces.
He was brand new. He was brand new in post at the time.
So what? He said it, Dave.
Look, let me just explain. Look, he was brand new in post. I know from talking to people at the club. I went to networking meeting. He went round every single department in the club. Because I remember speaking to a girl that was in hospitality. It was a networking meeting. I've mentioned it before, and I said, "Oh, what's the new chairman like?" I hadn't even met him. So he went round. He came down to our department. He spent 2 hours with us, asking what we did, what our problems were, what our issues were, what can he do to help improve things. And I said, "Okay, how does he compare to Jeff?" And she'd been at the club for 15 months. I've never seen Jeff. Nathan had been there 4 weeks and he'd been round to depart. So he's been going round. So obviously he's made that statement. He's made a rod for his own back. But you've got to give the guy some credit. At the fans forum, the podcast one that we went to, we went and we asked we pushed to bring, we didn't want to be all the ones that were like apparently having tea and cake. We didn't have any cake or anything like that. We were all there because we wanted to see positive change for this club, and we got together to try and force it. And we had a meeting And there was some very forthright views that were put across in that meeting, very strong, forthright views. And they stood up and they took some real abuse. And well, I want to say abuse, but some really strong views on that meeting. And one of the things that we pushed for in that meeting was to bring back the fans forum so that any fan can apply to go to the fans forum. And it was Nathan that turned around to Max and said, let's do that. That's a good idea. Let's do that. And then they facilitate it and we will deliver that. And he delivered it. The season ticket prices had, if Jeff Shee's still been in charge, we'd have probably got 5%. Oh, and by the way, you get 3 extra games. The season ticket prices come down. So he has delivered on a lot of the stuff that he's done. And he's made that statement, which is a rod for his own back. But as I said, it was said early doors before.
Can I just come in there?
Yeah.
Nobody cares. No, genuinely, nobody gives a flying fig because all we care about is what's on the pitch, right?
Absolutely.
I don't care I don't care whether Nathan. I don't care whether Nathan gets on well with the secretary. I seriously don't, Dave. I don't give a stuff. I care about what I see home and away on that football field. I don't support the ticket office, right? I don't support the admin team. I support Wolverhampton Wanderers. And Nathan made certain promises to you and the fans. There were money there. There's money there, he said. Where is it, Dave? We will have our team ready. We won't have a late window again. That's a terrible way to do business. What are we doing again? A late window. The team is the team is Wolverhampton Wanderers, Dave. Yes, they need support from the back staff, but it's the team that need Nathan on board, and he's not proven to be on board at the moment. I'm sorry, mate, but that's a fact.
No, Craig, and this is what you're on for because we love the passion. Alfie, can you log off and log back on so we can get your video back? Craig, look, I'm not disagreeing with anything, and I love your passion. This is what we want because we want honest debate. I care about the team. I care about the club. Every single fan cares about the club and the team is back. It's important, but all I can say when people are saying things they've lied, that's an argument to say they have. But Nathan, my point was, it's been proven, but Nathan's only been in post for 6 months. And from the things that he's done, that he promised to do, there's a lot of the stuff that he's done. And it takes time.
The most important ones, Davey, he hasn't, though. We are not prepared. Fosun have come out, or Nathan has come out and said, we want to go straight back up. We want to exit the championship the first time of asking. The team that was in front of all of our eyes on Friday night will not do that. They will fail at the mission. The mission is to go straight back up. I promise you, we will fail.
Base that off one game that we've played. You're deciding that we're not going to do that.
But it's not one game, Dave. What we're talking about?
You played one game.
Dave. Hang on, Dave. Hang on. We're talking about players. No, we're talking about players we've seen last season. We know what we're going to get. They're not good enough, Dave.
There you go.
These players are not good enough. And they turned that out Friday and nearly get turned over, right? But by a team that nearly got relegated. Now you're getting me as fired up as I was Friday now.
I love it, Craig. It's great.
We managed to get a point out of a dodgy decision. That's all it was.
Have a go, Alf. Go on.
We managed to scrape a point, and we've said it earlier. Blackburn a tip to go down, or certainly tip to be in and around that argument. Blackburn at home, under the lights at Molineux, should be, no disrespect to them, should be a comfortable win. If we can't pick up points at home to relegation scrappers, whatever you want to label them as, who are we going to pick up points again? Because I assure you there will be 10 times harder games when we play West Brom home and away. Borough.
Alfie, Norwich City was supposed to be one of the favourites to go up against a rubbish Albion team. They lost 2-1. Lincoln City were beating
Dave, can I just jump in on that one?
Lincoln City were beating Middlesbrough, who were one of the favourites, up until the 93rd minute, and Middlesbrough won. It's the first game of the season. You really start to see a pattern when you get to sort of like 10 games. Now, on the basis of that game, 100% right. Had we have gone and scored the second goal and won 3-0, everyone would be going, hallelujah, we're looking brilliant.
It was far off. Can I jump in on the Albion point?
Yeah.
The Albion point for their opener, their striker looks like a boxer. He punched the ball into the net.
Absolutely.
And
no other team other than Burnley and West Ham have had a Premier League squad for the last for the last 8 years. We've come down with a Premier League squad, Dave. We're not supposed to struggle against teams like Blackburn. I'm sorry. We are woefully supported by Matt Jackson and Nathan at this moment in time, and there's no denying it.
The Borough one as well, Dave. Borough, do you not think that's a sign of a great team? Okay, they're 1-0 down. I didn't watch the game, but they're 1-0 down, and they come back and they've got a quality number 9, they Will Lancashire, and they find a way to win. And what did we not do? Find a way to win.
We find a way not to lose.
But that isn't enough, Dave. A point isn't enough. And another thing I just want to touch on, that the high press wasn't there. It wasn't really there against Vale. The two competitive game, our identity, I know a lot of the fans will agree, we struggle to see an identity under Rob Edwards. We employ Cesar Pajotto. We think, right, we've got this high pressing identity. In the two competitive games I've been at, I wouldn't have said myself we were a high pressing team.
Absolutely, Alfred. Spot on right.
And it is that to do with the fact that we haven't got solutions, we haven't got the players to do it. Well, that's an issue that comes from above, then, isn't it?
No, 100%. And so, look, this is brilliant discussion because there are definitely two ways of looking at everything, isn't that? You know, I will echo the point. Had we have won the game 2 or 3-0, none of this would be happening. There's definitely an element of people waiting for things to go wrong, in my opinion, and then as soon as it does. But your argument is sound. It's not. There's no argument about it. We are not at this point in time. I agree with everyone, and I completely agree with you. We're not in the right place at this point.
Can I disagree with you on that? Nobody was waiting for it to go wrong, but because we've seen these players for so long, and they mostly are garbage, we suspected that it would go wrong because we were expecting a ready team full of new players. That's what we were promised.
Which players are garbage?
Mosquera with Totti by the side of him. Right?
I think he was actually at fault for their second goal as well, Mosquera. If you watch the replay, the lad who gets the assist actually drifts off Mosquera into Totti's space.
So Mosquera, you're happy with
our goalkeeper shouldn't be playing, Dave.
Keeper.
We haven't got a right-sided winger. Mane's off colour.
You're telling me that Rodrigo Gomez isn't good enough?
No. Not in that position, he isn't, Dave. In that position, he isn't. I told you earlier, his final ball and his crossing is dreadful. When Trippier crosses a ball, it goes in the air and it goes to one of our players. When he crosses the ball, he ever beats the first man.
Alfie, what's your opinion on Rodrigo Gomez?
For me, Rodrigo Gomez is a good player. To be fair, I wanted to dive back onto the Mane.
Though, Alfie, is he?
You are right, mate. He's better off the left, but
thank you.
I wanted to slightly disagree with you on the Mane point. What you've got to remember is he's 18. He's a year older than me. If it wasn't for him last season, mate, we'd have lost the Derby's record, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of pressure on a young man's shoulders. I'm no age, and he's 12 months older than me.
Yeah. What you've got
to remember is in the Championship, obviously, as it stands, we're Bucky's favourites to go straight back up. Teams will sit back. Teams will put a low block, it'll have less space to run into. The games that he thrived in last season, West Ham, Everton, United, he had all the room in the world to drive in, show his pace and show his ability. It will be difficult for this season, but as a fan base, we've got to get behind him. He's only a young lad. And I feel like all of our hopes and prayers shouldn't be directed. Maybe it should be the more experienced players like Andre, like if he's still around.
You're breaking up again a little bit, Alfie. Sorry, you're going. I think the point that you're making there, Alfie, is the fact that Mane needs to be given time. And I think Mane agreed. He's a young lad. I think he will develop as the season goes on. Craig, is Mane good enough for you?
Oh yeah, look, absolutely. But I'm saying for the first 6 games that I've seen him, he's way below his level, and he's making bad decisions. And can I just revise something there? I'm a bit passionate at the moment because I feel I feel really let down by people that promise me and 50, 60,000 Wolves fans something that they haven't delivered. So I am a bit passionate. Rather than garbage, I'll just say not good enough to be in our team and punch our way out of this division. When we went up last time, Dave, look at the team we had. This team is nowhere near. This team is nowhere near that. Nowhere near. So we're going to have to fight it. And the way that Cesar says we're going to win the championship, and the way that Matt Jackson arrogantly says, "Oh, none of those championship sides would get the ball of us." Really?
Right. Yeah. Well,
that's what he said to you, Dave. That's what he said to you.
He did say that in the meeting as well. I can confirm. He said the side that we got now. Okay, let's go through the squad. So obviously you're going to go. You're going to on a bit. You Bentley. You're not sure on Rodrigo. You're not sure on Mane. You're okay with Yerson Brippies alongside maybe a Kretschke or a Santi thing. Trippier, I'm taking it.
Absolutely class player.
Go Bueno.
Yeah. He's okay. I don't think he's superb, but I think he's adequate.
You've played Champions League. Go Bueno has.
Yeah, well, I'm just giving you my view.
I would be very unhappy with selling. Go Bueno for you, Alfie.
He's back crackling again with his Dalek.
Alfie, Go Bueno.
He's gone, Dave.
Rose, he's going to be back. David Mollerwolf.
Yes, but fit and match fit.
Yeah, I agree. Marshall Manetzi.
For me, he's just a workhorse. He hasn't got much else. Fantastic workhorse, though, but you need a bit more, I think. But do we need
a workhorse so in the championship type of
play?
We've
already got one. We've already got one in Andre. But the point I was going to make is we need a midfield around Fair Lopez that will fight for him, make space for him, bully, and give him space to play. Because if he plays this season, he's going to be outstanding.
Yeah. Andre.
Oh yeah, he's good enough.
Fair Lopez.
Oh, miles too good for us.
Adam Armstrong.
Yeah, I like him because he's really busy.
Okay. Raul Jimenez.
Oh, shooing, yeah, definitely.
Tommy Doyle.
No, as a 20-minute player, coming on as sub. And can I just quantify something there, Dave? I really like Tommy Doyle because he gives you everything.
He does.
But he hasn't got that starting speciality for me. But that's only my view.
So, Craig, not everyone's garbage then. So we have got the basis of a team, but the difference is we haven't got the options off the bench and we haven't got the depth. We've been playing some under-21s. Tomado's is a young lad. I liked him when he comes on. Is it Trewa that's come on? But they haven't. That's not the sort of quality. So when we're talking about signings, what we're really talking, it's not about numbers. It's about quality that's going to improve.
So, 100%, David, which is what we were promised. And the problem is that the players that I've mentioned, when you've got Mascara and Totti not functioning and being a real concern, behind him, Dan's going to be crapping his pants because as a goalkeeper, the last thing you want is dodgy defending in front of you because that makes you nervous as well. So you've got a three there that isn't working because between them there's no cohesive functionality. And then, as I said, you saw the other night, Mane and Roddy not functioning. So you've got four players there not functioning, which took Adam Armstrong out the game because all he was doing was running for lost balls. So you've got five players there that are not making a positive influence on the game. So that's what I meant by that garbage level. We shouldn't have that.
No, look, Craig, at the end of the day, look, I've got you with your strong views. I'm a little bit more milder. I want to sometimes put the opposing view, because we need to hear everything when we're discussing it. As I've made the point on this channel, as I make it earlier, we're kind of like, we're on the same, me and you. You'll be able to tell everyone this. We often go to the away games together. We're going to talk about that after this, actually, for the weekend. And we have some proper good debates. And do you know what? Do you know what, guys, in the chat? Discussions and opinions and passion are so important, but let's respect that we all love our club, and we can sometimes have different views and different tolerance levels. You don't ever win an argument by putting someone else's view or calling them a doomster or a happy clapper or whatever. We all care and love our club, and me and Craig, we have often lots of discussions and disagreements, and we hug each other and everything afterwards and stuff. We have a laugh, we enjoy it. But this is why having these discussions and debates on the channel are great. And if you've got views like Craig or Alfie, hopefully Alfie will be back soon, because he's obviously disappeared for now. Hold on.
You've upset him, Dave. You're upset him.
No, he's great. I think he was struggling with his connection.
I know he is. I was joking.
All I've ever said is, like, get in thinking, just respect the views on the screen. You know, sometimes we're having to say things to get opposite views and create passionate debate, because that's what people want, and it gets all out. We've often called it last year therapy hour. We renamed it therapy hour for a while, and like we've talked a lot tonight about thinking, and every view is correct. The common denominator is we all care passionately about our club. We all want the team on the pitch to reflect the passion of the fans in the stand. We want a team to be proud of. And there is no arguments. Things were said by the people that you said. They were said. And because those things are said, they will be held accountable for the things that were said if they're not delivered. Am I right, Craig?
Dave, I think the lack of, for the intelligence of Nathan Shee, Matt Jackson not so much, but for the intelligence of Nathan Shee, I personally, given my management experience, said that I think he was naive and a little bit silly to say all the things that he said. I think he's unfortunately, Dave, he's come in at a desperate time where a lot of fans were anti-Fosun. A lot of people saw what Jeff was doing in managing the decline of the club. But to make the statements that he made at that time, what he should have realised, had he been a bit older, is that people will hold him absolutely to his word.
Yeah.
And this is the problem that we have now got. Because I am holding him and Matt Jackson to his word, because I haven't heard anything from them to contradict what they promised. First of all, the Fan Alliance, then the Fan Forum. They promised you've got money to spend. They promised that they've got 7 or 8 signings. Nobody has come out to redraw the lines and say to the fans, look, we have got this change of situation. Bear with us, but everybody's brought the season tickets. I mean, that stadium before the game Friday was magnificent. It was like
one of the best atmospheres I've heard in a long time.
It was wonderful. It was, and had we won, as you say, 2 or 3-0, which with all due respect, Dave, we should have won, really.
Could have done when we were on top. We just, like the previous 2 games in pre-season, we've gone on and scored 2 and 3, but
I don't mean with that performance. I mean with a so-called Premier League squad, we should have gone on and we should have come on the field and won the game, but we didn't. And one of the most glaring things to me was how much better Blackburn were organised than we were. And Nathan Shee, I don't know if you've seen the picture of Nathan and Matt Jackson in the stands. Nathan looks like he's got a face like thunder. and Matt Jackson is looking very concerned because I don't know whether they believe their own spin.
Do you know what?
And-
Do you know what, Craig? I think Nathan's come in and he's assessed the managerial situation. And Emma went to the thing and we heard the BBC, but like when Rob Edwards was coming out towards the end of the season when we had 3 games, it's like, well, we'll try and win the next 3 matches. Nathan says, no, we want to be winning the next 3 matches. And I think he's looked at it, and because Rob's not very committal and says I was coming and wants to play this type of way, that's why they've switched. I think Nathan will be very, very closely looking at the performance of Matt Jackson.
I agree with you 100%.
What he's doing, because the manager's gone. Matt Jackson's under a lot of pressure to deliver on those promises that was said. And regardless of whether they've changed manager or not, the ultimate judgment will be on the strength of the squad and the change that has been made with the managerial situation.
Yeah.
And I think, Craig, right now,
Yeah.
if Nathan Shea and Matt Jackson are watching this, for example, right now, what would your message be?
Right. Well. First of all, can I go back on a point you just made? Because I think one, it's very intuitive. I think Matt Jackson is under pressure. Nathan Shee's CV tells you everything that you need to know about him. He doesn't do failure.
No.
So a bad Wolves season or a bad set of performances with the fans going, and I have to tell you, Dave, demonstrations are not far away because the fans have got no patience. That's the issue. This is not about this season. This is not about just this season. All of our senior managers within Wolves need to realise that this season is just an extension of last season. But I think Nathan Shee will be looking at Matt Jackson, and it wouldn't have surprised me if he turned around to him Friday and said, "You told me that this squad would walk this league. What the hell are you playing at?" So I absolutely agree with you, Dave. I think Matt's under pressure, and so he should be because I don't rate him.
Charles Mitchell says Nathan Shea should good look at how MJ doing this in the transfer market. MJ probably told NC it's all under control.
Yeah, right, fine, okay. I'll believe that when it happens. I would say to Matt Jackson, if you are so concerned about your income for your family, you need to get your recruitment and your sales team sorted out very, very, very quickly. And you need to make sure that this is the last time there is any level of incompetence in that department. I would say to Nathan, your communication started off well, Nathan, but you've had some really significant changes within the club, and you have said nothing. And you are looking as shifty at the moment as Jeff did. There you go.
No, that's fair enough. So, what do you want to see happen over the next couple of weeks?
Well, unfortunately, Dave, for me, in my headspace, both as a passionate Wolves fan, as a manager, it's already later than it ever should have been. But we've got to sign 3 or 4 high quality players. I'm really pleased to hear that they're thinking about loans from Premier League clubs. I think that's a great idea. I hope that we get this Jordan and James over the line. If we don't, I think, again, a section of the fans are going to kick off because it's going to be the same old, isn't it, Dave? You know what I mean? We get a top player on tender hooks and then we let them go or we get beat to them. We've got to sort the goalkeeping situation out. I would have played Sarr on Friday, Dave. I would have played Sarr.
I think Alfie made some really good points. I guess Bentley's played a lot of the pre-season, but like we're paying Sarr. He's on the bench, regardless if he goes or not. He's here now.
Absolutely.
He cares about the club. He should be playing in goal, and so should Kretsky at the back.
Yeah. You play your best players, Dave.
The squad.
You play your best players available. End of story. And we didn't do that. So, and another thing, Dave, I'm starting to get a little bit of question mark, not used, but enough to make me start to look about Cesar Pichota, because again, as Alfie said, where was that high press? I was telling all my mates, you wait till you see the high press, you wait till you see the high press, and it never happened.
Yeah, I think one of the things he said after the game, which I think was good how he addressed it, because obviously he did acknowledge the second half, which I thought was good. He said the one thing he was positive about was the fact that they were caring, but they played with their hearts and lost structure, basically, rather than their heads to kick stuff. They tried, and then kind of we lost structure, didn't we, in the second half? And we kept going. I mean, Yerson Mosquera was an example of that, really playing with one leg and keeping going because he'd made all the subs. I think in some ways it's definitely, as I said at the top of the show, it's a reality check on Friday night. Hopefully, sometimes if you get a result like that, where, I mean, at the end of the day, we've got a point. It's the first game of the season. You know, teams have lost the first game and gone on and won. I mean, Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia at the first match in the World Cup and went on and won the World Cup, didn't they? So, like, but if it sharpens minds and the ferociousness of how the fans have taken that in some aspects on the fact that it's like we're not ready, then hopefully it focuses the mind and they really start to get this sorted out. I'd like to see Sarr start against Preston. I'd like to see Kretsky in the back line and Santi if he's still here as well.
Yeah.
Really hope that we don't sell Hugo Bueno and it is just a groin injury, because I know there's conspiracies going around that it's that he's off to somewhere else. We'll see. I'll be glad when the end of the window's done and the uncertainty's over, and then Craig will know where we are fully, won't we? By the time we get to that.
Look, David, if you do anything at elite level, you cannot afford to let your emotions override. You know, I've done my hobby at elite level, and you play under massive pressure, and the single biggest thing is that your mind is clear, and it doesn't matter how much you want to win or how much you want to play well, you have got to think really clearly. And when I point to my bands, I tap my heart and I go red hot, ice cold. Red hot, ice cold. Your head's got to be absolutely ice cold. So I love the passion, but it cannot affect the thinking, which Cesar obviously says that it did on Friday. It just looked to me as though they weren't organised, Dave. Blackburn looked so much better organised than we did. But again, that 25 minutes gives me a little bit of hope, because that quick 1-2 football that we talked about last season, Dave, how many times did we talk about it? Why don't they play quick 1-2 football that gets them through defences? And for 25 minutes, I mean, we could have scored 4 or 5 goals in that 25 minutes. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And I'll just come back. We're going to move on in a second to Q&A, but there's a poem that I love. It's called "If," you'll know it. And one of the opening line of that is, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you but make allowance for them too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal lies, or being hated, don't give way to him, and yet don't look to it. It goes on, doesn't it? So look, at the end of the day, right now, we've got to keep our heads. Nathan, Matt Jackson have got to keep their heads and basically bring in the players that we need for the remainder of this transfer window, where it's badly needed. I think all the fan base are concerned, because the window shuts in 2 weeks. And we're thinking, guys, wake up and smell the coffee. If you don't sort this crap out in the next 2 weeks, we're stuck with with these players and this squad until January. And by then it's too late. Wolves need to be going for promotion. And there is worry that the squad will be weakened further and won't be replaced adequately.
Absolutely.
and then it will get nasty. And you know me, I don't want it to go toxic and nasty. I don't want that. It's not. It was horrible last year. Nobody wants a toxic Molineux. It's not good for it's not good for the fans. It's not good for the owners. It's not good for the city. It's definitely not good for the players. The players respond to, the fans being behind it. And you could see the atmosphere on Friday night and when their tails were up and how we were behind them. It was magnificent. And then we got hit by that goal and then the bottom fell out of it. But listen, we've got 2 weeks. A lot of work needs to be done in those 2 weeks for you, Craig.
Yeah, what concerns me is what you've just said. Brian Clough, one of the greatest managers there's ever been in my book, said one thing, that you build a team from the back, so that your defence is absolutely rock solid. We brought Trippier to marshal that back four, back five. I think he got really frustrated Friday night because he couldn't marshal Mosquera and Totti. They were chaotic. Mollywolf, unfortunately, that's the first bad game I've seen him have. But
I think it was because he was forced to come in and he wasn't.
No, I think he had a bad game, Dave.
And also he wasn't.
He was right in front of us where I stand in the South Bank, and you could see straight down that line. We had a terrible overload, and I said to the guys around me, why doesn't Cesar send a message on about this overload that started in the first 10 minutes and just carried on the whole game? That concerned me about Cesar, I have to say. But Mollywolf was so exposed, and of course that guy wasn't a mug, and he just took him on. And of course we were double teamed, if you notice. So Mane and Rodri were double teamed every time, but we didn't do that to them. So I'm saying you've got to be able to defend, Dave. We've got to have clean sheets, and so my concern is that they're going to sell one or both of Preci and Santi. If they do that, we're left with Totti and Mosquera. You've got to be joking. You've got to be kidding me.
And Giga, who played for Rangers. Yeah, it's
it's awesome. We need another a playmaker in midfield. What I call an engine. I think Alfie's absolutely right. I think he'll take the place of Menezzi. Menezzi will come on when Jordan James is running himself into the ground. So he'll come on for the last 15, 20 minutes, as will Tommy Doyle. I have been impressed with Tommy's application. I've just been looking for him to do something special that would enable me to say to you, he should be in the side. But he just hasn't shown that. But what he has shown, he's an absolute love for Wolves, and he's run his heart out every time he's been on the pitch in all the 6 games that I've seen. We have to sort out our forward line, Dave. We were inept in that second half. We didn't create anything. And if we're going to play Raul, Raul's got all the skills. He can bring players in, so he can bring midfield players coming onto him and hold the ball up for them to feed off them. But he can also head a ball. So, we've got to use this guy because he's magnificent. The way he played for Mexico in the World Cup defied his age. So
exactly. We've got some quality there. We've talked this one to death. We're going to do a Q&A now. So any questions for me, Craig? Alfie's phone is overheated, which is why he's poor lad. Before we get on, I do want to talk about my mom. It is 3 years to the day that I lost my mom, my dad as well. Obviously, they were together for 60 odd years. Obviously, I'm very fortunate. I've still got my dad. He still goes to the games, and he took me as a lad, and I now take him. And you've been dropping him home as well, which is appreciated, Craig. But my mum, Margaret, she was a wonderful, wonderful human being to me and my sister. And like anyone that's lost a parent or someone close, you think about them every single day. The only thing I ever know is that, like, I hope you guys in the chat, if you've lost someone, you know that they loved you. And I know that my mum was proud of me. And that's the most important thing for me. And I just needed to think about it today, because as I say, I'm doing this pod and I miss her very, very much. And Mom, I know you're looking down on us. I love you lots. I miss you very much.
Bless you.
Yeah, it's been a tough day, as you can imagine.
Yeah, Dave, you heard me talk about John Gillam, and I mentioned it here. John was my partner at Flowers, B flat bass. He'd been struggling with bowel cancer, and he lost his fight 2 months ago.
Oh, mate.
And that's it's death's a terrible thing for us to cope with, especially when you love the people around you, and we never get used to it. So it's
just the anniversary today.
Yeah, it's a tough old thing, Dave.
I've been out with them. We've been down to we went down to the NEC. We went to the Tutankhamun thing, which was fantastic, immersive experience. And then there was the English Open pickleball things on there, which I might take up and start playing. And it was great to do that, to get my mind off it today. So,
Dave, your mum would want you smiling, and she'd also want you to give Matt Jackson a nice and sheer slagging off. That I'm sure about that.
I got you for that. I got you, Craig, without a shadow of a doubt. So look, question. Craig Carl wants to know, what musical instrument would you like to give Wolves to play in your orchestra? It's a good question.
Mother Wolf.
Question, would you like to give Wolves to play in your orchestra? If Wolves, what sort of musical instrument are Wolves, I think he's meaning.
Oh, right. Oh, bloody hell. At the moment, an untuned violin. I would like them to be a proficient top oboe player that sings like a dream. But at the moment, I'm afraid, Dave, they are an untuned violin.
I like that, an untuned violin. I think that's a very good analogy. Have we got any more questions from the chat before we get on to our score prediction, guys? Just waiting to see if we've got any more questions. So look, Preston away next week. Obviously, you'll be going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wolves fans.
It's away, isn't it? And we haven't won away for over a year. I've got to say, Dave, that there's got to be a response from Friday. So I'm going to go with 2-0. Although that's saying that we've got two central defenders that can defend. And I hope Trippier gets the armband as well.
Keith's asking, does he think he should get his fail to prepare for fail to fail flag out on the Waterloo Road this week?
No, I think he should get his Taiwan flag out.
I think it is. It's got words on it.
Yeah, that's exactly. And the problem is, Dave, you can't blame people for thinking this, because it's same old, isn't it? You know, that they've got to do something to stop people thinking this, rather than people not thinking it. You know, I've had so many. I've been called so many things today on Facebook, and I have to tell the people, if you're listening, I don't care, right? But it's almost like people are deluded about what's been going on, and it doesn't matter what Nathan and Matt have promised. We should get behind the side. Well, of course we should get behind our side, but we should also hold these people to account.
100% needs to be held to account, and I think we all agree on that. It's just when and how.
Yeah,
and you know, it's like, to me, he wants to go and do his flag down at the Waterloo Road. Crack on, that's fine. If you know, that's totally fine. I think everyone has got different ways of expressing how they feel, and every single way should be respected. That's always been my view. Some are maybe a bit more militant than others, but we're all, at the end of the day, we all love our club in our own way, and we all want the best. There's not one
Dave,
the best.
can I ask you a question? You a question here? Because I think you're a moderate, okay? And
I'd like to say
you are a moderate, right?
I'm more of a. I try to be balanced, I suppose.
Well, that's a moderate. That's what a moderate is.
Yeah.
So if this carries on, U-turn.
Say what? Sorry, mate, missed that.
So if this carries on, right, and the window is a damp squib, in other words, we don't get what we need. How long will it be before U-turn?
Mate, I went last time when we did the protest. The last time I did the protest, Always Wolves signed up to the letter. We were part of the discussions about how that should be put up, how should be put across. We very strongly believe that power in unity, that rather than division, that everyone has to come along, and that there's different views, and you have to come to sort of a middle ground, and you also have to come across in the right way, that it doesn't come across as nasty. You can put an argument across without it having to be toxic or anything like that. You might think, and we supported that. I've put the 2 articles we wrote in the BBC, very strong articles.
I'm not saying that, Dave. I'm saying, what's it going to take? What will it take you to be tipped over the edge? Because the arguments that I've had today are people that are very, very. You can't criticise Wolves, no matter what's going on.
Who said that to you?
Oh gosh, Dave, I've done about 20 posts on Facebook today. I've offered to meet one guy, and not to be aggressive or anything, but to sit down with him over a pint and have a debate.
See, that's always the thing. Everyone should be able to sit down like what we do. We have so much laughs out of it, and we talk it through, and we have hugs at the end of it, and we get on. It's and it's respect. That's how it should be. Your view should be completely respected. We're happy to have you come on the channel, and you're very, very strong in your views, and then we'll have others that come in and disagree. We're not robots, are we, Craig?
That's football. That's football supporters, Dave. But what would push you over the edge? Because clearly, at the moment, Dave, there's a lot of failed promises, right? And I agree with you. We have 2 weeks before those failed promises actually become lies, right? Because if they don't do it in the next 2 weeks, they will have lied to us. End of story.
The answer to your question is I don't know the answer to that. I just know when I get to it.
Okay, that's cool. That's fair.
When I've got to the end of my thing and I've actually called out for the manager to be sacked, on a reaction.
At Brentford, you did. I remember it at Brentford.
You were there.
I remember that.
To be sacked, and when I get to that point, you just know, don't you? When you get thinking, when people, like of my maybe moderate gets to that point, it's getting pretty bad. It's really. So you know what I mean. But everyone has their own tolerance point. But we all want a team we can be proud of. That's all any of us want. And you know what, Craig? Because you care, and so many of you guys in the chat care as well, and you've got strong views. Because you care, because you love the club.
Right.
And that's why you're passionate and why you get so angry, because you just go, for God's sake, just give us the team that you can be proud of.
Absolutely.
And, when you hear statements that do come out, naively or not, well-intentioned or not, those words are out there, and people will note those words, and then they will come back to bite you down the line if you don't follow through.
Absolutely.
My honest hope is that the next 2 weeks are going to be sorting out the issues. The things that you mentioned earlier with the loan players from the Premier League, unfortunately, you can't really get them until towards the end of the window, because they know when they've got players that are surplus to their squad and they're wanting to move. The same as Wolves will want to loan players and move players out the closer it gets, the more things need to happen. And I was listening to, I think it was Talk Sport today, and they were talking to fans from different clubs and someone who's an EFL expert and a Premier League, and he was just saying like all of the fan bases are having the same meltdown about their, on the whole, that have about their transfer business. It's not just Wolves, it's everybody. You go to other clubs, they're having the same discussions about a lot of the same things. I was listening to a fan that came on and they lost their first game, and he was saying our season's over after one game. And that's the nature of the beast, isn't it, Craig?
Dave, I accept that, and that's normal football banter. I think we've got a heightened issue, and that is that we have an embarrassed fan base. We were embarrassed by this team last season. They were awful. You know, to not win a game away for over a year is just unacceptable. And to win,
turn out.
Yeah, three games, only win 3 games in a season is just unacceptable. And I don't know. I hope Fosun haven't thought, because we've had a few months off and we've had the World Cup, those feelings are going to go away. Because I'm telling you, from the fans that I'm mixing with, that absolutely 100% haven't gone away at all. What we're waiting for is action to take the sting. So, in other words, we've got a great big throbbing bruise, and we need some treatment on it to take the pain away.
Absolutely. And look, Neil in the chat doing his troll thing again. Listen, Neil, you've got a reputation across every single channel and podcast. You're just there all the time saying the same things, whining each other, and I still let you comment. It's like, you know, the guy, you know, just there the whole time. It's like just the invitation to Neil White, and I've invited you to many times. If you want to come on and talk and put your opinion on, rather than, you know, sitting there, come on and send us a message. Come on and talk about it. But you won't, and you won't on other podcasts either. You just sit there throwing stones at things, and I just don't know. Craig, you hit the nail on the head right there. Do you know what, mate? It's been a wonderful podcast tonight. Great debate. Guys, I really, we'll emphasize yet again, me, Emma, this channel is not pro-Fosun in any way, shape or form. We're not anti-Fosun either. We are all about the club. We will give anyone that wants to have an opinion the opportunity to come on and express their views. I might be a bit more moderate than Craig, but we still love each other to bits. We're still great mates. You don't always have to agree with each other, but you can respect opinions. And you know what? It's good to have the debate. What we want is for good owners that are going to back the club. And if they don't, and I'll say it again, if they don't do it, please just pass it on to someone who wants to. And that's exactly where we're. Nathan, for me, you know, he's going to make mistakes. He's going to learn. And one of the mistakes might have been, Craig, that he came out and made that statement naively. But like what you said, he's not stupid, is he, Craig?
He could have put it right, though, Dave. He could have put it right. And he's chosen not to.
By coming out with a statement. I'm sure we'll hear from him at some point. Guys, as always, we'll give you all the news on the channel as it comes out. We'll try and give you some opinion. We'll be back next Sunday night, of course, with post Preston. 5,000 plus Wolves fans at Preston away. They will make their voices heard. You know, this shows the breadth and depth of the support of this club. We have not won an away game in nearly 1.5 years, and yet we're still going to be turning up and selling out 5,500 next week. That tells you everything about the love this club has and our fans have. So thanks for joining. Thanks to everyone that's joined in tonight. God bless you all. I hope you've enjoyed the discussion. Well done to Alfie, who made his debut, young lad. Now Craig's been cut off now. Look, Craig, you still there? I bet his phone's gone as well. Well done to Alfie, who did really, really well tonight, making his debut. His phone overheated. Thank you ever so much for joining us as well tonight in the chat. I hope you've enjoyed it. And then let's see what happens over. Oh, he's back. Here he goes. Had to stay. There he is. What happened there, mate?
I don't know. He just went off. He went black.
Right. Okay. Well, you're back. I was just saying, Craig, Alfie did a great debut. His phone overheated. Young lad. Made some great points. You can't hear me now.
Oh, my God.
This is like the start again. Oh. Poor old Craig. Technical problems for Craig at the end. I'm just saying that Alfie did really, really well. I hope you enjoyed Alfie coming on. And thank you for saying keep smiling. I appreciate it. This is it. It's life, isn't it? My mom and everything like that. We've all had to deal with all these things. Craig's back now for the end of the show. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Thank you.
I was saying Alfie did really well. I thought
Brilliant.
you were very passionate and we're great. We've had some great debate. Thanks to everyone in the chat. It's been a great show. I hope you've enjoyed it. Final thoughts, Craig?
Yeah, just Nathan, Matt, get your finger out and just do what you said you were going to do. End of story.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully they watch or they're listening and they've got their finger on the pulse. We will find out in the next 2 weeks, Craig. Craig, and you'll be back on, I'm sure. We'll get you back on after the transfer window to get your
thanks, mate.
And obviously stay on the line because we've got to talk about the weekend.
Okay, absolutely.
Lots of love to you all. Thanks for joining. Until the next one, always Wolves.
Hey, that was all right.